Last Tuesday, I watched a man pay $47,000 for a 2022 Honda Pilot with 45,000 miles at a dealership in Phoenix. The salesman was practically high-fiving his manager as they walked this guy through financing paperwork that'll keep him paying for the next 6 years. But here's the crazy part. 20 minutes earlier, I helped my neighbor Tom buy this bulletproof SUV with 287,000 miles for just $3,800. Look at this odometer right here. 287,000 miles, and this engine still purrs like it just rolled off the assembly line. The interior, still immaculate. The transmission shifts smoother than most cars with 1/10 of the miles. Now you might be thinking I got lucky, or maybe Tom had some inside connection at a dealership. But what if I told you there are thousands of these automotive tanks hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered by people who know what to look for? The $3,800 SUV will outlast that $47,000 Honda Pilot by 200,000 miles. I'm not exaggerating. I've documented it happening over and over again. While that guy in Phoenix will be making payments and dealing with depreciation, Tom will be driving his SUV to 500,000 miles and beyond. Today you'll know exactly which 8 SUVs laugh at 500,000 miles, where to find them for under $5,000, and most importantly, how to spot the difference between a future money pit and an automotive immortal. Here's what's happening in the used car market right now that nobody's talking about. I recently visited 3 different dealerships in one afternoon, and the story was the same everywhere. People are fighting over relatively new SUVs with questionable long-term reliability while completely ignoring the vehicles that were actually built to go the distance. At the first dealership, I watched a family spend 2 hours negotiating over a 2019 Toyota RAV4 with 78,000 miles. Final price, $24,995. The salesman kept talking about low mileage and modern features. But here's what he didn't mention, that RAV4 was built during an era when manufacturers started prioritizing profit margins over engineering excellence. Meanwhile, sitting in the back corner of their lot was a 2003 Toyota 4Runner with 245,000 miles, priced at $8,995. Nobody even looked at it. The sales staff probably assumed it was too old, too many miles, not worth their time. But that 4Runner was built during what I call the golden age of automotive engineering, when Toyota was still overbuilding everything to compete with the best vehicles in the world. I recently helped a subscriber named Jennifer understand this concept. She was about to finance a 2020 Honda CR-V for $28,000 when I showed her a 2004 Honda Pilot with 320,000 miles that was selling for $3,200. Her first reaction was exactly what you'd expect, but it has so many miles. 6 months later, Jennifer sent me an update. That high-mileage Pilot had been her daily driver through a harsh Minnesota winter, 2 cross-country road trips, and countless soccer practices. Total maintenance cost, $340 for an oil change, brake pads, and a new battery. Meanwhile, her friend who bought the newer CR-V had already been back to the dealership twice for warranty repairs. But there's something dealers don't want you to know about these high-mileage heroes, and it has everything to do with when they were built and why certain years represent the absolute peak of automotive engineering. What makes certain SUVs practically unkillable while others start falling apart after 100,000 miles? The answer lies in understanding what I call the golden age of automotive engineering, roughly 1995 to 2008, when manufacturers were still competing on build quality rather than just features and price. This is the engine bay of a 2003 Toyota 4Runner with 380,000 miles on it. Look at the thickness of these engine components. Feel the weight of this alternator bracket. Now compare that to a modern SUV where everything is designed to minimum specifications to save weight and cost. The owner of this 4Runner, a guy named Mike from Colorado, bought it 3 years ago with 310,000 miles for $4,100. Most people thought he was crazy. But Mike understood something crucial about these vehicles. They were literally built to run for decades without major mechanical failure. The 3.4-liter V6 engine in Mike's 4Runner was tested for over 500,000 miles before production. The transmission was designed with tolerances that most modern vehicles don't even approach. Even the body panels were made from thicker steel because durability mattered more than fuel economy regulations. But here's what really makes these vehicles special. They were designed in an era before planned obsolescence became the industry standard. Engineers weren't told to make components last exactly 100,000 miles. They were told to make them bulletproof. I recently compared maintenance records between a 2022 Honda Pilot and a 2005 model with 280,000 miles. The results were shocking. The owner of the 2022 model had spent more on maintenance in 18 months than the high-mileage owner had spent in 3 years. Modern complexity doesn't equal reliability. It often means the opposite. The best part, right now, is the perfect time to buy them. Because while everyone else is overpaying for newer vehicles with questionable longevity, these automotive masterpieces are sitting on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, just waiting for someone who understands what they're really worth. Now, let me show you the specific SUVs that were built to laugh at 500,000 miles. These aren't just reliable vehicles. They're engineering masterpieces that were overbuilt to such an extreme degree that they're practically immortal. Let me tell you about Sarah from Oregon. 3 years ago, she was shopping for a family SUV when everyone told her to buy something newer, something with lower mileage. Instead, she found a 1999 Toyota 4Runner with 278,000 miles for $4,200. Her family thought she'd lost her mind. Today, that 4Runner has 478,000 miles on it, and Sarah just drove it from Portland to Yellowstone and back without a single issue. The engine doesn't burn a drop of oil between changes. The transmission shifts like silk. Even the air conditioning blows ice cold. What makes these 4Runners so special? They were built on a truck platform during Toyota's obsession with bulletproof reliability. The 3.4-liter V6 engine was designed for commercial use. It's the same basic power plant that Toyota put in their work trucks. Body-on-frame construction means it can handle abuse that would destroy a modern crossover. But here's the secret most people don't know. The 1996 to 2002 models are the sweet spot. They have the legendary 5VZFE engine that's known to run 500,000 miles with basic maintenance. But they're old enough that nobody wants them. I regularly find clean examples with 200,000 to 300,000 miles for $3,500 to $4,800. Just last week, I helped a subscriber find a 2004 Runner with 245,000 miles for $3,800. The previous owner had every service record since new. In any other vehicle, 245,000 miles would be the end of the road. In a 4Runner, that's barely broken in. Here's something most people don't realize. The Lexus GX470 is basically a Toyota Land Cruiser wearing a luxury suit. Same platform, same bulletproof engineering, but because it says Lexus instead of Toyota, people assume it's going to be expensive to maintain. I recently documented a 2005 GX470 in Arizona with 425,000 miles on it. The owner, a retired engineer named Robert, bought it 4 years ago with 320,000 miles for $4,500. Everyone told him he was buying someone else's problems. Instead, he got one of the most reliable luxury SUVs ever built. The 4.7-liter V8 in these GX models is the same engine Toyota used in the Tundra and Land Cruiser. It's been tested to over 500,000 miles and regularly exceeds those numbers in real-world use. But you also get Lexus levels of comfort, leather seats, premium sound system, and build quality that puts modern luxury SUVs to shame. Robert's GX still rides like a cloud. Everything from the power windows to the navigation system works perfectly. And he's spent less on maintenance in 4 years than most people spend on a single repair. The secret? These vehicles were built when Lexus was trying to prove they could out-engineer the Germans. You can find clean examples with 250,000 to 350,000 miles for $4,000 to $5,000. Yes, they're at the top of our budget range, but you're getting a luxury SUV that was built to run forever. The Honda Pilot from this era represents something we'll probably never see again. A family SUV built with motorcycle company precision. Honda took everything they learned about building bulletproof motorcycles and applied it to a 3-row SUV. Meet Jennifer from Michigan. 2 years ago, she was about to finance a newer SUV, when I showed her a 2005 Honda Pilot with 285,000 miles selling for $3,600. Her first thought was, too many miles. Today, that Pilot has 380,000 miles and has never left her stranded. The J35 V6 engine in these Pilots is legendary among Honda enthusiasts. It's the same basic design Honda used in their Ridgeline truck, overbuilt for commercial duty, but smooth enough for daily family use. The transmission was designed to handle the weight of a fully loaded SUV plus trailer, which means normal driving is a vacation for these components. But what really makes these Pilots special is their practicality. 3 rows of seating, massive cargo space, and Honda's reputation for going 300,000 plus miles with basic maintenance. Jennifer's Pilot has hauled everything from furniture to camping gear, survived 2 teenagers learning to drive, and still starts every morning without fail. The best part? Nobody wants them because they're too old and have too many miles. I regularly find clean examples with complete service histories for $3,200 to $4,500. That's less than most people spend on a down payment for a newer SUV that won't last half as long. In the mountains of Colorado, there's a 2006 Subaru Forester with 340,000 miles that's been through more adventures than most people experience in a lifetime. The owner, an outdoor photographer named Dave, bought it 5 years ago with 220,000 miles for $3,400. Since then, it's been to the top of every major peak in Colorado, survived countless camping trips, and never once failed to start in sub-zero temperatures. The secret? Subaru's Boxer engine and symmetrical all-wheel drive system were designed for exactly this kind of abuse. The Boxer engine sits lower in the chassis, giving these Foresters a lower center of gravity than traditional SUVs. The all-wheel drive system is always engaged, not just when you need it, and the build quality from this era was exceptional. These were the Foresters that established Subaru's reputation for reliability. Dave's Forester still gets 28 miles per gallon on the highway. The interior shows minimal wear despite hundreds of thousands of miles, and everything works exactly as it should. He's spent less on maintenance than most people spend on car payments. You can find these Foresters with 200,000 to 300,000 miles for $2,800 to $4,200. They're perfect for anyone who needs reliable all-weather transportation without the complexity of modern SUVs. Sometimes you need something bigger, something that can haul a family of 8 plus all their gear. That's where the first-generation Toyota Sequoia comes in, a gentle giant that combines truck-tough reliability with surprising refinement. I recently met a family in Texas whose 2003 Sequoia just crossed 465,000 miles. They bought it 8 years ago with 280,000 miles for $4,200, and it's been their primary family vehicle ever since. 3 cross-country road trips, countless soccer tournaments, and daily school runs. This Sequoia has done it all. Built on the Tundra truck platform with the bulletproof 4.7-liter V8, these Sequoias were designed to last. The engine is the same one Toyota used in their commercial trucks, overbuilt for constant heavy-duty use. The transmission was designed to handle towing 6,500 pounds, which means normal family hauling is effortless. But what makes these Sequoias special is their combination of capability and comfort. 8-passenger seating, massive cargo space, and the ability to tow a boat or trailer. Yet they ride smoothly enough for daily commuting and get reasonable fuel economy for their size. The family in Texas has spent less than $2,000 on maintenance in 8 years, mostly routine items like brakes and tires. Compare that to the cost of financing a newer large SUV, and the savings are enormous. You can find clean examples with 250,000 to 350,000 miles for $3,800 to $4,900. For families who need maximum space and Toyota reliability, nothing beats a first-generation Sequoia. Here's Honda luxury at Honda prices. The first-generation Acura MDX represents one of the best values in the used SUV market. Built on Honda's proven platform with their legendary V6 engine, these MDXs offer premium features without the premium maintenance costs. I documented a 2004 MDX in Florida with 320,000 miles that still drives like a luxury vehicle. The owner, a retired teacher named Margaret, bought it 3 years ago with 280,000 miles for $3,800. Everyone told her she was buying trouble. Instead, she got Honda reliability with leather seats. The 3.5-liter V6 in these MDXs is essentially the same engine Honda used in their Pilot and Ridgeline, proven to go 300,000 plus miles with proper maintenance. But you also get features that were cutting edge for their time: premium sound system, leather interior, and build quality that rivals much more expensive SUVs. Margaret's 1950 still has ice-cold air conditioning. Every electrical component works perfectly, and the transmission shifts as smoothly as the day it was built. She's spent less on maintenance than most people spend on a single luxury car repair. The best part? These MDXs fly under the radar because people assume Acura means expensive maintenance. The reality is, they're Honda reliable with premium features. You can find clean examples for $3,000 to $4,300. The Nissan Pathfinder from this era is the underdog that surprises everyone. Built on a truck platform with Nissan's bulletproof VG33E V6, these Pathfinders were designed for serious off-road use but refined enough for daily driving. Meet Carlos from Nevada, whose 1999 Pathfinder just hit 410,000 miles and is still towing his boat every weekend. He bought it 6 years ago with 320,000 miles for $2,900, less than most people spend on a vacation. Since then, it's been absolutely bulletproof. The VG33E engine in these Pathfinders is legendary among Nissan enthusiasts. It's the same basic design Nissan used in their trucks and commercial vehicles, built to handle constant heavy-duty use. The truck-based platform means it can handle abuse that would destroy a modern crossover. Carlos has towed his 4,000-pound boat hundreds of times, driven through desert heat and mountain snow, and never once been left stranded. The engine doesn't burn oil, the transmission shifts perfectly, and everything still works as it should. These Pathfinders represent incredible value because Nissan's reputation took a hit with their CVT transmission problems in newer models. But the 1996 to 2004 models were built before those issues, using proven technology that's stood the test of time. You can find clean examples with complete service histories for $2,500 to $3,800, often the cheapest option on our list, while still delivering bulletproof reliability. The first-generation Toyota Highlander is what happens when Toyota applies their legendary reliability to a car-based SUV platform. Think of it as the Camry of SUVs, and that's definitely a good thing. I recently helped a family find a 2004 Highlander with 295,000 miles for $3,700. The previous owner had maintained it religiously, with service records going back to the original purchase. Today, at 395,000 miles, it's still their primary family vehicle. Built on Toyota's proven Camry platform, but with SUV versatility, these Highlanders offer the perfect balance of reliability, fuel economy, and practicality. The 3.3-liter V6 is essentially the same engine Toyota used in the Camry and Sienna, proven to go 300,000 plus miles with basic maintenance. But what makes these Highlanders special is their combination of car-like driving dynamics with SUV practicality. They handle better than truck-based SUVs, get better fuel economy, and still offer 3 rows of seating and decent cargo space. The family, with the 395,000-mile Highlander, has spent less than $1,500 on maintenance in 4 years, mostly routine items like oil changes and brake pads. It's been their reliable transportation through job changes, kids' activities, and family vacations. You can find clean examples with 250,000 to 350,000 miles for $3,500 to $4,700. For families who want Toyota reliability without the truck-based ride quality, the first-generation Highlander is perfect. Now that you know which SUVs can hit 500,000 miles, let me show you exactly how to find the good ones and avoid the money pits. Because here's the truth. For every bulletproof high-mileage SUV out there, there are dozens of neglected examples that should be avoided at all costs. Last month, I looked at 2 identical 2003 Toyota 4Runners on the same day. Both had over 280,000 miles. Both were priced around $4,000. But there was a crucial difference that determined which one would run forever and which one would become a money pit. The first 4Runner looked perfect from 20 feet away. Clean paint, decent interior, everything seemed fine. But when I asked about maintenance records, the owner shrugged and said he changed the oil when it needed it. No records, no receipts, no documentation of the critical services these vehicles need. The second 4Runner looked rougher around the edges. Some paint fade, worn seat bolsters, typical high-mileage cosmetic issues. But the owner walked me to his garage and pulled out a 3-inch thick folder of maintenance records. Every oil change, every repair, every service documented for the past 15 years. Guess which one I recommended? The rough-looking one with perfect maintenance records is still running strong 2 years later. The pretty one with no service history needed a $3,000 transmission rebuild within 6 months. This is what I call the service history gold standard. If you're looking at any high-mileage vehicle, the stack of maintenance records should be thicker than your smartphone. No exceptions. Here's a red flag that'll save you thousands. Be suspicious of any high-mileage vehicle that looks too perfect. I recently walked away from a beautiful 2004 Lexus GX470 because something felt off. 2 weeks later, I found out it had been in a major accident and poorly repaired. Trust your instincts. But perhaps the most important tip I can give you is this: never buy the first example you find. These vehicles are out there in numbers, and patience is your friend. The best deals often come from owners who understand exactly what they have, but need to sell quickly for personal reasons. Just last month, I helped a subscriber find a 2003 Honda Pilot with 265,000 miles for $3,400. The owner was moving overseas and needed it gone within a week. The SUV had every service record since new, recent timing belt, and drove like it had half the miles. Patience and persistence pay off. The most important maintenance secret? Never ever defer maintenance to save money. These SUVs will run forever if you maintain them properly, but they'll let you know when you're slacking off. That perfect maintenance history I keep talking about isn't just about documenting what was done. It's about proving what wasn't skipped. Sarah's 4Runner with 478,000 miles has never missed a scheduled service. Not once. The result? An SUV that's more reliable than most vehicles with 1/10 of the miles. Mike's maintenance folder is organized by year, with every receipt, every service, every fluid change documented. It's not obsessive, it's smart. But perhaps the most important lesson I've learned from documenting these high-mileage heroes is this: the SUVs that make it to 500,000 miles aren't just well-maintained. They're loved by owners who understand what they have. These aren't just transportation appliances. They're proof that when something is built right and cared for properly, it can last virtually forever.